Welcome to the Health by Haven podcast. I'm your host, Haven Quinlan. If you're a multi-passionate wellness enthusiast, then you're in the right place. I'm obsessed with learning as much as I can about the wellness world, and I want to share that with you. Each episode will dive into various aspects of health and wellness through inspiring and informative guest interviews with some solo episodes thrown in. Tune in for all things health, and let's have some fun, shall we? Hello, and welcome back to the Health by Haven podcast. I am so glad you're here listening today. In today's episode, I talk with the founder of West Kept Secret, Marissa West. Marissa is a former NFL cheerleader and began working in the fitness industry as a personal trainer. The demand for her training quickly outgrew home visits and her first garage gym, and she opened her first brick and mortar studio in 2020. The West Kept Secret methodology combines cardio, strength training, and Pilates into one high-intensity interval format. While, of course, we spend a lot of time talking about fitness, Marissa and I also discuss entrepreneurship, nutrition, overcoming perfectionism, new motherhood, leaning on others for help, and what it's like to now train the Top Cats, the Carolina Panthers cheerleading team. Marissa is so real with everything she shares, and it's so clear how much intention and passion she puts into her workouts, business, and family. I can't wait for you to learn from her. And if you're in the Charlotte, North Carolina area, be sure to message West Kept Secret on Instagram that you listen to this episode to get your first class for free. So without further ado, please join me in welcoming Marissa West to the Health by Haven podcast. Marissa, thank you so much for joining us today on the Health by Haven podcast. I am just so thrilled to get to chat all things fitness with you.
Thank you for having me. I'm super excited to be here and excited to chat fitness, West Kept, all the good things with you.
Yes. Okay. You have kind of a lot going on at the moment. So I feel like this conversation will go in a million directions, but maybe just a good place to get started for people who don't follow you on social media, who haven't, heard of you or your fitness classes. Can you tell us just a little bit about yourself and about West Kept Secret?
Absolutely. I grew up in the Northern Virginia area and went to college at Christopher Newport University. It's definitely a small Division III school, so a lot of folks probably aren't familiar with it. But I danced there and really, really loved just being able to do something post high school that was still fitness based and allowed me to also have that creative side of the dance side of things. And I graduated in 2011, which is aging me now when I say this, like, whoa, a lot of time has passed. But 2011 from college, and had auditioned for the Carolina Panther cheerleaders, which I sure will touch on that later. But that is kind of the pivotal moment for me that brought me to Charlotte and also really kicked off my fitness career. So I always feel like that's important to mention in kind of an intro. But I wanted to try out for that team. My sister was living in Charlotte at the time. And, it was like far enough away from home, but close enough to family. And so I auditioned for the team and I made it on the first try, which was just, I was
amazing.
If anyone's watched, DCC, normally can take 3 to 5 years of auditions to get to that point for them to accept you on the team. Mm-hmm. So I'm so thrilled. I moved down there, and at the time I was working in IT recruiting. I just had to get a job that was full-time because cheering was part-time. Mm-hmm. And that was what I could find quickly. And I realized very quickly, I'm not a girl who's going to sit behind the computer and do a corporate style job. So when I realized that after a few days of working in this IT job, I immediately applied to a local studio to teach some different classes. And that's where I kind of got my footing in fitness in the Charlotte community. And from there, after a few months, I realized, between wanting to diversify the workouts that I'm doing and kind of create something different, in addition to not wanting to work this IT job, I was ready to go, let's go out on my own. I'm going to do this on my own. Let's figure out the plan. And the plan at the time was I don't have a space, right? I don't
Mm-hmm.
have any money to open a brick and mortar location.
Yeah.
So I'm going to do home visits, travel to clients' homes within the greater Charlotte area. And that was my first kind of into starting my own business. And fun fact, I don't think I've ever said this on any podcast, but the name of West Kept before it was West Kept Secret was Personal Training by Marissa. Very,
Uh-huh.
very creative, right?
Uh-huh.
That's what I could, again could come up with. And through that process of having those clients and driving to their homes, I was able to realize, you realize all these things during entrepreneurship, that was going to be an energy suck and time suck of the travel time because we were going 30 to 45 minutes of driving to different people's homes. And
Mm-hmm.
so my husband and I decided we were going to transform our one car garage in our home into a mini studio and then welcome those clients into the house. So that was really our first location.
Yeah.
Transition from doing these home visits into our home, and then over time was able to build a two-car garage with a mother-in-law suite on our property.
Uh-huh.
And that was our second location. We were able
Yeah.
to make it a little bit bigger, and it was separate from the house because
Yeah.
I'm sure you can imagine we're at 5 a.m., 4:30 a.m., clients are coming in, and we've got music, high energy, that wasn't going to be sustainable for the long term. So once we built that mother-in-law suite, that's where the experimentation with the group classes really started happening. And the methodology really was defined within those walls because I had the opportunity to now not just see one person at a time, but two to three people. And then we worked our way up to 4 to 5 people at a time. And that's where the group classes really took off. And we started those every Saturday and Sunday, 2 to 3 group classes in that mother-in-law suite where I was teaching, or I ended up hiring another instructor or two. And it was about a 3-year period. And then it was like, okay, these are full. The methodology is working. It's time to look for a brick and mortar space. And now we're coming up on our 5-year anniversary, October 2025. So
Which is so exciting.
it's a long version of kind of where I started and kind of where I am now.
I am here for the long version. This is why we're on a podcast. We can chat for as long as you want. And I think it's so helpful for people listening. If you go right now on West Kept Secrets Instagram, you're like, oh my gosh, like this place is so polished. They have all their stuff together. And it's so hard to imagine how you started. And it's very hard for people who are in those starting phases not to see businesses like yours and get like defeated feeling like, oh my gosh, how am I ever going to like work my way up to something like this? And so hearing like, first of all, I had to work this other job to like start funding it. Because people don't talk about that. They're like, just quit your job and follow your dreams. Well, like, also you have to eat. And then, like, hearing all the different iterations of like going to people's houses, then creating different studios in your property before like fully opening, a studio space separate from your home. I think that is just like so helpful to set the scene for people.
Absolutely. And what I would say is it really shows you a snapshot of just trial and error. And I have been there. And honestly, even to this day, even in this present moment, there are those feelings of, oh, how am I going to get to the next step, the next phase in the business? And I do feel like we're at a turning point. I was talking to somebody about this recently. It's like, what is next? How do we grow and grow strategically? That's going to serve our clients, but also continue to grow within the our staff and kind of grow within the 4 walls that we have right now simultaneously. Because for me, growth is it's not just opening 100 locations and doing it super quickly. There has to be a strategy behind it. Doing that trial and error now within the space that we already have, to me, is always going to be the best fit as I'm working on expansion plans and what that's going to look like. But growth can be look small to other people, but it's actually huge when it's happening kind of behind the scenes or internally. A great example is even our staff, for me, a few years ago, after 2 years of being open, it was like, okay, I want to keep really good talent. And how do we do that? Fitness studios are not offering for their full-time employees typically benefits, a 401k, things of that nature. And being able to do that for our core management staff was really important to me. But then you have to figure out the logistics of that. And so
Mm,
that was step one for expansion and growth within our four walls, so that how do we rinse and repeat this for other locations down the line. And so my tip for any entrepreneur, whether they're in fitness or a different industry, is trial and error everything and write it down. So like, hey, the home visits are great, I'm building up my roster and I'm booked, but now I'm losing 45 minutes here and 45 minutes here. How can I utilize that time so it's not time and money lost? And
hmm.
then write it down and then figure out a plan. And sometimes those plans are going to fail, and that's okay. I have implemented hundreds of things that have failed, or they were a starting base point. And then from there, I was able to tweak, redefine, and get better at whatever that task was or that item was. So that's my biggest tip is just trial and error everything. And then my other big tip is setting up systems that work for you and your business that are going to help automate things and free up what you're not or delegate what you're not good at, whether that's AI or you're hiring somebody for it, so that it frees up time for you to focus on what you're good at to move the business forward little by little.
Yeah. Okay. Two tidbits that you just said there. One is like having people or AI, I guess, help you. Like you don't have to do it all alone. And now, of course, there are times, especially when you're first starting, where you like can't afford to do that. But
Yeah.
like when you get to the point where you can like redirect your focus, I think that's amazing. Like that's also something that not a lot of people talk about is like, you don't have to like have all the balls in the air yourself at once. And
Yeah.
then the other thing I really want to call out that you mentioned is like starting, trying something, and then iterating off of that, because I think that's such an important mindset for entrepreneurs, especially, but really anyone like that has a dream that wants to do something, even if it's not going to be like a business, is like we can get so trapped into it needing to be perfect that we don't ever do it. Like waiting for the perfect conditions. Like this could be starting a workout routine, even waiting for Monday, waiting for the start of the month, waiting for January 1, waiting for the conditions to be perfect. Like it's never going to be perfect. You just have to start and then you can like keep iterating and growing off of that. I love that insight.
Thank you. And I mean, that's present to anything. I love that you mentioned that. And it's even right now, it's like looking at what are the next steps for West Cap. I do find myself saying it's not the right time. We have so
Mm,
much on our plate, and when I do that, even now, it's happening currently. So what I will do personally is say maybe right now in this moment, I'm a little overwhelmed, or it's not the right time to work on this project today. But I'm going to set aside time, whether it's tonight or tomorrow, that's 30 minutes or an hour, to come back to this uncomfortable place because it's not perfect, and kind of
yeah.
work through that and then do the same thing. And then little by little, that growth starts to stack up. And then that's measured over time. That's going to give you the big win, the big result versus I'm too overwhelmed to even deal with this right now. And then it is 6 months later and you're coming back to it. So I think doing that is such an important part of the process of whether you're marathon training, whether you're starting to work out, whether you're starting a business to utilize that technique because it will stack up over time.
Absolutely. Consistency over like perfection is really what's going to make the difference in the long run.
100%. Speaking from experience, I am a perfectionist by nature. So I'm a Virgo. I don't know if you look at anything with signs or astrological signs, but Virgos were like through and through hardcore perfectionists. And if you ask anyone on the West Kept Secret team or any clients, my number one trait, I think they'd be like, Marissa is a perfectionist and she's very hardworking, but I think perfectionist would rank at the top. So
Hmm.
it's very hard to break through. Everything needs to be perfect all the time to
Yeah.
get to that next phase or to even start. So
Hmm.
that comes with a lot of self work. That comes with breaking through that mindset and just realizing consistency over perfection is always going to win out in the long game. So
Mm-hmm.
just putting that out there, it's not just it's hard to practice what I preach when I say that, but I've been there and it's a constant struggle. But if anyone else feels that way, just know you're not alone. And it's better to push through that than just get stuck in the perfectionist cycle, because that will ultimately stop you from reaching your goals or your dreams.
Yeah, yeah, of course. I could not agree more. And so, on that vein, like moving from the space on your property in the mother-in-law suite into your first, like, big brick and mortar studio, off property, talk to us a little bit about what that was like.
It was exciting looking for the right space, but I will say this, we officially opened the doors October 2020. So if you go back there mentally,
Oh,
we're
yeah.
in the height of COVID, the timing couldn't have been worse. Again, coming from a perfectionist standpoint, I'm envisioning this amazing grand opening party. All like we've already pre-sold all these memberships. It's going to be this just wonderful experience. And it was the complete opposite. We signed the lease in January.
Oh, gosh.
And then we started the build out. And then, so, build out began February, March. COVID happens in April.
Yeah.
And it's like, landlords, everyone's like, hey, too bad. Like, finish the build out. Like, let's see where you're at. And they worked with us in a certain capacity, but it was like, we can't delay the opening. So we're going to open with a mask mandate.
Yeah.
So it's like, hey, you're doing this somewhat high intensity workout with a mask on. And
Yeah.
it was just brutal. And we are located in it's called the Berkshire. Basically, it's retail on the bottom floor. We're the only retail space. And then above us are these beautiful luxury apartments. And a lot of those folks who live there are doctors at the hospital system directly across. And
Okay.
so these folks are very serious about following the mandates. And we have these gorgeous glass windows that let in light. So I would tell the staff, I'm like, guys, we have to follow these protocols for a lot of reasons, of course, but we have doctors who they're able to see us. Like I know people would say, "Oh, there's other gyms that are not following, the mask mandate." And it's like we're not other gyms. This is the standard. We have to follow it. And if you're not on board, you're not going to be the right fit for the company long term. And so it was a really tough time, but I will say we did enough, but there was enough buzz before. There was enough
Mm.
trial and error leading up to the opening that clients knew who we were and they were waiting for us to open this space because they wanted to get into a 18-person class versus a 5-person class on my property.
Yeah.
We had a really strong clientele base right out of the gate that were like loyal. They were excited regardless of the situation. So that we had laid the groundwork to allow us to get through that really hard time. And I look back
Hmm.
and it makes me a little bit sad that the first location it was a stressful time because of the state of the world. But again, you couldn't plan for that. Nobody could. We adapted and it allowed us to get creative to get to the point now that we're at this 5-year mark. And it taught a lot of early lessons in the brick and mortar, space that we had. You had to negotiate things with your landlord. You had to have these hard conversations with your staff. But all in all, the location for the first studio for us has been incredible. It's right in the heart of Dilworth, kind of right outside of Uptown, which is our downtown for other folks who are in other cities. And it's a beautiful space. It's bright, it's welcoming, and it really fits our vibe. It's also relatively large, which is nice. And
Hmm.
it allowed us also to realize that we needed more space quickly. And so after about 2 years, we talked to our landlord about wanting additional space for our personal training operations, which is really another side of our business. So we have the group classes that are
Hmm.
all in person, 5:30 in the morning all the way till the evening. And then we have an entire personal training side of the business where I have a few clients, and then now we have 4 full-time personal trainers. That's all
Wow.
we do. And then we've just kind of are slowly adding more subs into that mix for people who are like, hey, I want to be a sub if any of the regular resident trainers need assistance or they're traveling. And then they're kind of like, I really like this. Honestly, let's talk about what this would look like as a full-time job for me. So we have now 10 of those subs for our PT team, and hopefully we'll expand that side of the business even more. But we ended up renting another space essentially on top of the current retail space for just the personal training operations. So really, we're two spaces in this one location, but it's amazing. I love it. And it really set the groundwork to know what we need for future locations.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I did not do my research well because I didn't even realize you had this whole like personal training side as well. So that's
Yes.
incredible.
It's amazing because it's really what I noticed. So we really started as a personal training business with me doing the one-on-ones and then
Hmm.
grew to the group classes, but I held on to all of those one-on-one clients. Or I noticed the one-on-one clients who were like, you know what? I think I'm in a good spot with personal training. Like you've shown me so much, Marissa, but I don't want to lose training with Westcap. Do you think I'm ready to go to the group classes? And that was an aha moment for me that there's a lot of white space in the fitness industry with group classes and with personal training where we can kind of bridge the gap on both ends. What
Mm.
I mean by that is if somebody is kind of hitting a good spot with personal training, we can refer them now. You're ready to go to group classes. It's less expensive. There are more time frames, and now you know the movements. And if you ever feel like you're backsliding and you need to come back, we're here for you. And then on the other side, when we get, I'm intimidated, I don't know the movements, I'm scared, I don't think I'm fit enough to come to class, which that is not true. Anybody listening, um, we get those comments and those questions. We can refer them to personal training so they can get the fundamentals of that individualized experience. So kind of filling that white space has been really great because we're able to meet clients on either end of the spectrum based on their needs.
I love that you're bridging that gap because I cannot think of any other studio that's doing that. But you're so right. Like, I can think of so many clients at fitness studio that I teach at, like coming in and being like, I've wanted to come try this for years, but I've been like so nervous and like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to keep up and everything. And what a gift to them for somebody who really wants to start moving their body and make sure, they're staying in safe form and everything, that you're providing this alternative for them as well.
Definitely. It's been a great ad and kind of having those because we at first it was like is one going to take away from the other? You never know. And it's only amplified and complemented one another. And it's great because when our group trainers teach a class and then the end of the class they, provide announcements. And one of the announcements usually is, if you're interested in training with me or you have questions about personal training, let me know. And that's when a lot of clients will come up and be like, "Oh, okay, so you are offering PT. Like, tell me a little bit more. I'd like to, I'm getting married in 6 months and I have a bridal membership for the group classes, but I might need that extra push 2 months out." And we're like, "Cool, we got you. Let's do it." And so having that offering is just so great because it really does bridge that gap. And I'm so glad that we have both of those offerings, and I definitely want to continue that in future locations as well.
If you're looking for a deeper level of care for yourself or your family, let me introduce you to Avoda Massage Therapy, a family-centered wellness center that believes in the healing power of intentional touch. Rooted in the meaning of avoda, purposeful work or service, this practice goes beyond relaxation. They offer specialized therapeutic massage for every stage of life, from infants to adults, recognizing that true wellness starts within the family. Whether it's infant body work, pregnancy and postpartum massage, craniosacral fascial therapy, or even red light LED therapy, each session is designed with empathy, expertise, and your unique journey in mind. At Avoda Massage Therapy, touch isn't just physical, it's transformative. It's about calming the nervous system, restoring balance, and fostering deep emotional connection. Ready to experience purposeful healing for the whole family? Learn more at avodamassagetherapy.com. That's AVODAH massagetherapy.com. Yes, definitely. So for somebody who's never been into your studio for say let's say a group class, like when they're walking in, what do they expect? What kind of methodology, and I know you said it's ebbed and flowed and you've iterated on it, but what would that look like now if they went in for a group class?
Yeah, again, I know a lot of different studios do this differently with their front desk staff, but our front desk staff is really important to the client experience. So new clients would arrive, they would be greeted by our front desk staff and then take it on just a little mini tour. Hey, let me talk to you about the flow of class, show you where the locker rooms are, and just check in if they have any injuries so that the front desk team can then pass that off to the trainer. So the trainer's ready to go with any modifications or, pregnancy modifications, things like that. And then from there, we have a board system that we've developed where we have 6 to 7 stations depending on the interval for the day. So our intervals and our movements change daily. And within those 6 to 7 stations, we have Pilates, cardio, and strength training all together in that 50 minutes or 35 minutes if it's an express class, since we offer those as well. But the equipment within those modalities for Pilates, we have Pilates reformers, Pilates springboards, and a ballet bar.
Hmm.
And then under the strength training bubble, we have a boxing bag, TRX straps, and then we also have body weight dumbbells, BOSUs, other body weight style props or freestanding props. And then under the cardio component, we have treadmills, and then we have bikes as well, and then body weight cardio. So all of those different modalities are pieced in within a 6 or 7 station rotation. And then again, intervals are changing. They might be what we call longer intervals, which are 4 minutes, 5 minutes, 6 minutes at these stations, or shorter intervals, which are 2 minutes, 1 minute, 3 minutes, 1 minute only. And then they focus on the right, left side, and center of the body. So you
Hmm.
always hit cardio, core, arms, legs, and a full body workout in our 50-minute classes. And then our express classes are focusing on a body part. So core and cardio, arms and cardio, legs and cardio. And then we're still utilizing those pieces of equipment to fulfill that body part need. So it's very innovative. And it's basically, to me, the way I always like to explain it to folks is it's a one-stop shop. I know I struggle with I will do a Pilates class and I love Pilates, but
Hmm.
I'll feel this urge of like, I didn't really get my heart rate up. I wish I
Mm.
could have had a little cardio included in. And that's the feedback we got from clients over the years when we were testing the methodology was, I really like this style of working out, but I feel like I need to do this style to get the results. So I
Mm.
would always take that feedback. And then that's when the methodology again was tried over the last 10 years to include all of those modalities into one and deliver that for the clients. So within our board system, you're greeted by the front desk, you're kind of get a quick rundown of what the workout looks like. And then within our board system, the front desk strategically places new clients with a OG veteran client
Mm.
member or a staff member if they're taking class. We also have a format of where pregnant clients are going to be placed so that if somebody is looking at the person next to them and it's a pregnant person and a new person, we don't want them together because they might get confused.
Yeah.
We are pairing people with OG regulars who can kind of like help carry the workout if they ever are unsure.
Hmm.
So they're placed on this board very strategically, and then the front desk kind of says, "Hey, you're going to be at treadmill number one." All of our stations are labeled. So we have 3 pieces of equipment for each station. So 3 treadmills, 3 Pilates reformers, 3 springboards. And we would say to you, like, hey, Haven, you're at treadmill one. You'll follow station one, treadmill one, reformer one, springboard one throughout the room in the rotation. And
Mm.
then the client's like, oh, cool. Okay, that's easy to follow. And then from
Yeah.
that point, we pass the new client off to the trainer who walks through just a quick spiel about, safety, injuries, and from there the class starts. And our classes always start with a 3 to 5 minute warm up, a demonstration of the interval and the movements. We try to keep that around 5 to 7 minutes so that that is the most time we're taking up. and then we go right into the actual interval itself. And, there's planned water breaks, there's opportunities for additional advancements and PRs and pushing towards the end of the class based on the interval. But again, yeah, classes are 50 minutes or 35 minutes, and it's challenging for sure.
Hmm.
So it can be advanced to, I would say, the highest level of athlete, and it can also be modified down to the newest, most beginner exerciser out there, and everyone in between.
I love that. And I love all the equipment. I mean, I feel like I would be a kid in a candy shop in there. Like, as somebody
Yeah.
who's just super into fitness, like, I love to try different modalities. It's almost hard when there's like so many different options because you're like, oh, like, how am I gonna try all of these different things? So it's kind of fun, like a fun idea to blend all of that in one. And then you feel like you're like checking all the boxes as well.
Yeah, and it's a time save. That's huge, right? Like I personally, and I know others don't have time to take a reformer Pilates and then go and do a 2 mile run, especially if like you're in
Hmm.
marathon training. Like my husband has done several marathons and also has done ultra marathons, and that's a different type of training. And
Yeah.
he would say, Here's my training schedule for the week, but I'm going to throw in a West Cap because it's going to give me strength, core,
Mm.
and I'm going to be able to still, I can like time my mile when we're doing the 6 minute interval or whatever it is. And so having that opportunity to kind of capitalize on all of the different modalities has really been fun and exciting and provided, I think, a unique opportunity for those who have done kind of everything, and people get bored too. And that's one thing. People are like, I'm never bored at Westcap because I never know what to expect. And it allows also you to break through the plateaus without even realizing it because the programming, it's structured, but it changes. The frequency changes enough so your body doesn't get complacent and you're always elevating to the next level of results.
Love it. Okay, I want to shift gears a little bit because I know you mentioned previously you had some time as an NFL cheerleader and now you train them. And so tell us a little bit about first what it was like to be on that team and then the transition into now training them.
Yeah, it was, oh gosh, such a wonderful experience. It was one of the like prime, like if I had like my top five moments, I would put that, 4 or 5. I mean, getting married, having a baby, those were definitely going to be number one, two up there. But yeah, cheering's definitely up there. It was just one, setting a goal and accomplishing it.
Mm,
That was just wow, I did this. I made it. And then it was like, okay, now the real work begins
yeah.
because if you say out loud a goal, I know I did. Hey, I want to be an NFL cheerleader, and my parents are kind of like, I mean, I don't know. Like that's a pretty like lofty goal. Like you're a good dancer, but there are millions of people who are going to be auditioning for these teams, and being able to say, "Hey, look, I did this." It was just a really cool moment for me. And then once making the team and starting that real work, it was challenging because I quickly realized I am not a learn the choreography in the moment dancer where most of my teammates, like our coach would show the choreography and it's like 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, you got it. We're moving on to the next thing. And I'm like, wait, what just happened? So I was like, wow, this is an area I'm deficient in, and I need to get good at this quickly because I am at risk to not making it back or getting pulled from a game. Because if you don't know the
Mm,
choreography, you're bench, like you can't dance. And I would meet with my teammates outside of practice and make sure I knew what I was doing because I knew that that was something I was not good at. So that was definitely a challenge and a learning curve for me. And once I went into my second season as a vet, I felt like, okay, I know this, and now I can help the next Marissa, who is somebody who might struggle with choreography or they are struggling even from figuring out like new foods and workouts that are going to help prepare them for game day. Because
mm,
when I cheered, I was in an era in 2011 where it's completely different today. The environment that we were in was definitely about image and being at your smallest possible by
mm,
whatever means possible, in an unhealthy way. And I think I speak freely about that because it was just an era, I think, where everyone was in 2011. I mean,
Mhm.
that was like the America's Next Top Model era.
Yeah.
So it was a time of you need a fitness uniform. You came into auditions at this weight. You need to maintain that, and you need to do whatever it takes to be there. And so I think the part about being a cheerleader, the challenging part is I had this fitness background. I was working in fitness, and we would do things that were not the healthiest to try to fit these standards and fit into these
Mm.
uniforms that, you look back and go, wow, as their fitness sponsor now, we have so much more data. We don't have the requirements that we had in 2011 that the team needs to hit to be able to dance. It's about fueling your body. It's about going out there and being able to attack the routine with power and precision and without comparing yourself to a scale. So
Mm.
it's changed so much, but I'm glad that I had that experience because, again, now coming back in a different capacity with the organization, it allows me to go, this is where we went wrong. How can we
Yeah.
do it better in a safe way, a more educated way, now that we all have this information as a society, really? And that has been the most exciting part about being their fitness sponsor is having the experience, number one, of being on the field, knowing what they're going through, like that,
Hmm.
knowing how much work it is, and then being able to set them up for success and have that mentorship that ultimately we, the squad years ago, didn't have.
Yeah. Well, thank you for shedding light on that because you're right. That was such an era of like diet culture, 100
Yes.
calorie packs, like low fat, no fat, like all the things like that. Like be like you said, be as small as possible. Like I remember sitting at home like if I was sick from school one day like watching a whole season of America's Next Top Model, on rerun and then like now shifting into realizing like oh, like if you're fueling your body, then it's going to be able to get stronger and recover better so that you can get back out there sooner. And such a mindset shift for the better.
Yes.
So, tell us a little bit about like when you're going in to train the team. Is it like you're like a personal training, but with the whole team? Like, what does that look like?
Great question. So we have within our partnership, the cheerleaders are able to come to a certain amount of classes per month. So we see them within classes with our regular clients, which is really cool. And our clients love it. They're like, "Oh,
Yeah.
I'm training like a top cat." That's their official name is the Top Cats, and that's really fun because it just adds a fun element for them, for the clients, and it allows the Top Cats to come and take class regularly. We also offer them personal training services, so they'll be able to do that independently if that's something that they want to do. And then we have our team workouts at the stadium. So that's always really fun. We do those monthly, and typically they're a workout paired with a seminar, and then there's some topics on that seminar that are applicable to whatever's going on in the season. So preseason was, hydration, prepping your body for game day, nutrition ideas to help fuel in addition to the workout. And we did one recently, which was really fun, where we did a rest and recovery style seminar, but we made it fun where we had like we split them into two teams, and it was kind of like a team bonding event. And one team nominated an individual to win a gift card to one of our massage partners, and then the other group got to nominate someone to win a DoorDash gift card. And it was figuring out ways to make it fun, interactive, because their practices are late at night and they've worked a full day of their regular jobs. So they're coming in. I'm like, I know these people are tired. If I
Yeah.
was sitting down and I had someone just saying, reading off a piece of paper and giving me information, I'm going to fall asleep. Like,
Yeah.
let's be honest. So I always tell our staff, I'm like, how can we make this interactive and fun? Add that element of team bonding because you're looking at a team of 25 women. 25 women is always going to be a challenge, right? There's always going to be
Yeah.
personalities and ideas of what should be going on and this and that. So when we can continue to facilitate the side of team bonding and bring them together, I always want to do that because that's important to me. And I've lived that myself as a cheerleader. When you have a strong team, there's no I in team when everyone's winning. So we always try to incorporate a team bonding side or element to our workouts. And then the workouts themselves, when we're doing these monthly at the stadium, we make them dance specific. So, what I mean by that is all of the movements are coming from some kind of foundational dance movement. So, for example, pirouettes. How can we do a movement that's going to allow them to work on their double turns, triple turns, or their fouette turns if they're doing those on the field? So, what is in the choreography? Are there big jumps that we need to work on power and explosiveness? Are there some tricks where they're going to be holding their legs up, to their ear, and we need to work on flexibility? So we always are utilizing the stadium workouts to really curate those around their sport, which is dance. And that's where the fun really comes in for me because I'm able to blend my love of dance, my love of fitness, and then put that all together for them for these specialty curated workouts.
Well, hearing you talk about that, like I can just tell how passionate you are about it and like how much thought and intention goes behind that. I mean, how cool for them to get like a very tailored specific workout with those like dance background that they're used to because I grew up a dancer as well. I literally like never set foot in a gym until after I was on college dance team. So I was not super familiar with like traditional strength training movements. But if someone would have shown me a workout where I'm like, oh, like I can see where it draws from this dance move, like, oh, I would have been all over that.
For sure. It really connects the dots for them and it helps with injury prevention because we'll see. It's like you're doing jump splits, you're doing kick lines. Like eventually something's going to happen. And if we can set them up for success with the right flexibility tools and the right workouts that are going to only keep them injury free, that's another big goal for me too. So it's just the best of both worlds for me. And I just feel so blessed to be able to do it. And it's fun for our staff because I'm normally bringing anywhere from 2 to 5 staff members with me, and we kind of divide and conquer. So they're getting some one-on-one attention, and it's just such a fun time and fun for the staff to go to the stadium on a Wednesday night and be able to just see the excitement going into a game week. It's always it's like, oh, they're working on painting the field and they're the players, and it's just a really fun environment to be a part of.
Taking a little break from today's episode to walk you through a 60-second guided visualization. It's 6 months from now. You wake up feeling rested and vibrant. You have energy to take on the day. You feel excitement about what lies ahead instead of overwhelm or dread. You feel strong and capable. You have the strength to keep up with your kids or to push through a challenging part of your workout class or to run that extra mile. You have the confidence to excel at work or the courage to strike out on your own. 6 months from now, you moves your body daily. You cook nourishing, delicious meals that fuel your body. You've never looked or, more importantly, felt better. You don't follow a restrictive diet full of sad salads that leave you hungry. You've learned how to listen to your body and fuel it with foods that support you and your bio-individuality. You don't pick apart your body or beat yourself up. You love yourself. You're proud of how you show up for yourself and your loved ones. You find joy in every day. You've built habits that support your longevity. That thing you've been dreaming of, you have it. This 6 months from now version of you, it's already in you. If you've been dreaming of this version of yourself but can't seem to get there, that's what I'm here for. I work one-on-one with people just like you who are sick and tired of feeling sick and tired. Every week, I help clients achieve their health goals through one-on-one nutrition and lifestyle coaching. We'll work together to create a realistic plan that you actually follow through on to become the dream version of you. You deserve to look and feel your best. You deserve to live your happiest, healthiest life. And you guys, you're my people, and I am so grateful for your support. I want you to feel amazing. So as a special thank you for being a Health by Haven podcast listener, I want to offer you a free discovery call to find out if we're a good match. You can message me on Instagram at Health by Haven or email me hello@healthbyhaven.com and mention this podcast to schedule your free call. You deserve to live your happiest, healthiest life, and I cannot wait to be your biggest cheerleader along the way. Yeah, absolutely. So, shifting gears a little bit, I know that you grew your family recently and now you have a 1 year old. And so, I know a lot of women who are listening, maybe they have small kids, maybe they're thinking about kids, and it's really hard to maintain a fitness routine for yourself. I'm sure, during pregnancy and postpartum, taking care of yourself so that you can take care of your kids, all of that is like so complex. And I don't pretend to know, like, I don't have children, but I'm sure, like, if you could speak to that a little bit, you would be like enlightening and helping so many people who are feeling like, oh, like, how am I going to handle all of this?
Absolutely. And it is very daunting thinking about it. I mean, and honestly, that was some of the reason why. I mean, my husband and I were like, every year, it's like, we're going to try this. I mean, we feel confident we want kids, but it's just our careers are super busy. And, how are we going to fit this in? And, then another year goes by, and then another year goes by. And again, you get to that point where you talk about it and you're just like, you almost shy away from it because you're so worried of how it's going to all work out. And again, it's like you can't plan for what's going to come when you have a kid. You just can't. And that's one of the things that I will say is having a child has really helped me to say, you know what? Stuff happens and like we just got to bob and weave and we got to adjust and like this is what it is. It cannot be scheduled out to perfection. It's really helped me realize that I have to be a little bit more go with the flow.
Mm.
So, and that's very hard for a type A go-getter personality. And I've seen things on Instagram of like specific pages that are like, if you're a type A mom, go-getter, you might suffer from like postpartum depression or be more inclined to struggle, especially in the early phases of motherhood where your child can't communicate with you and you're like, I don't know what you need. I've got something else going on, and you're just trying to juggle it all. That those high performer personalities can struggle a lot more in motherhood. And I'm very thankful that that didn't happen to me because I was expecting it to. I was like,
Yeah.
I'm going to struggle. I just am going to know that's going to happen. And the opposite really happened. It was like he is an easy baby. So like let me preface that. And I know that there are babies that they have, colic or they're crying all day long. And that is an outlier of what I'm gonna say. Like when you have a
Mhm.
relatively, a baby that's relatively easy and, cries at the usual things.
Yeah.
I think when you first start your expectations low, I had such low expectations that I was like, this is actually easy, which is crazy because I managed my expectations to be like, this is going to be the hardest thing I've ever had to do.
Yeah.
Like, it's going to be really brutal, but like, you're going to find joy in those moments. But when I dropped my expectations, step one, when I did that, it really helped me go, I'm having more good days than hard days. So, like, just
Mm.
right there, if you lower expectations, that's going to help you right out of the gate. Then number two was right out of the gate, if you have got to set yourself up with a village, however that falls for you. For me, that was we had an au pair. She came 3 weeks after my son was born. So she's basically been like a second mother to
Mhm.
him throughout that period of time. And just knowing, I mean, half the time I'd be like, hey, you've been here for 2 hours, like I'm good. You can like call it a day. And she'd be like, well, I want to work. Like, that's why I'm here. And I'm like, no, like I'm gonna spend time with him. But knowing I had her, or if I
Mhm.
needed to extend hours, she was flexible to do that. It allowed me to have those moments where I'm like, okay, I need to focus on work, or I do need to get a workout in for me. I have that support. And the times that she's off, boom, my husband is right there. He's like, you need to go do this for yourself. Go do it. So, however that village falls for you, maybe that's daycare, maybe that's just a sitter, maybe that is a sister, a parent. you have to set it up. And I would say you can plan for that and you can set that up in advance.
Yeah.
So knowing we had this au pair, I was like, okay, I feel like I'm gonna have support, and that had my mind at ease right out of the gate. So find your village, set it up, and utilize them. Don't be afraid to utilize them because there'll be times I'm literally like, he's just like sleeping. Just get you're good. Be done. And then what would happen is he would like move, and I'm like, and he would like stir, and then he would wake up, and I'm like, shoot, I thought he was gonna sleep for another hour, and now whatever I was working on, I have to pause. Like, use your village and use them to the fullest extent that you're comfortable with, they're comfortable with, because it will allow you to feel more like yourself. And that is so important to combat postpartum depression and making that adjustment. Because for me, it was like he was our entire world didn't shift and was only revolving around him. His name is Julian. It was like, okay, Julian is going to fit into our life and we're going to prioritize him, but we're also not going to let our goals, our ambitions, our relationship as parents completely go to the wayside. And it's all about him 24/7. And I think with that mentality, we take him to do things that we love. Like when there needs to be something fixed in the studio, and I'm like, hey, to my husband, Robert, I'm like, hey, like there's something going on. Can you help? He's like, yeah, like we'll plan for Saturday. You, me, and Julian will go over there. I'll fix, whatever is going on in the studio, and we bring him with us and we integrate him into our day to day. And that has been so huge to not not just cater to every need that he has or want or desire. Like we all kind of ping pong off of each other to make all three of us a priority at the same time, if that makes sense.
Yeah, of course. And I love that you're mentioning that because as I mentioned, I don't have children, but I have heard of like people talking about struggling and feeling like they've lost their self, their goals look different, all of that. And of course, your children are like a top priority in life, but I love that, he's going to grow up and see like, dang, my parents are really driven and they have these amazing jobs and they're taking time for things that they love too, and like their health to better themselves. And like, what a great example you're setting for him. So on that vein, like what does like living healthy, living well, you are in the fitness industry. Like, what does that look like to you and things that you're like trying to model for him, like in the long run?
Absolutely. For me, daily movement is just pivotal, however it falls. And sometimes it's not a West Cap workout. Honestly, most days right now, I'm walking or I'm doing like a short run with our dogs and or with Julian in the morning. But him seeing, hey, I'm going along with her in the jogger and we're going to walk 2 miles, or I'm going for a 2 mile run. Like when we run, it's just so much fun because now that he's talking, I'm like, what does the horse say? And he's like, neigh. And we like I'm running and we're talking, or I'm like, he loves plants right now. Plants are like his big plant guy. So he'll like see a plant, he's like, plant. And it's just cool because we're doing something I love and I need, exposing him to words and fresh air, and he loves that. And it's our time to bond. And he's seen me. I'm like
Yeah.
pushing up a hill. I'm like, Julian, you're getting heavy. Like this is tough, but mom's gonna push through. And we were building that relationship together. So for me, daily movement with him is
Mhm.
always the goal. Sometimes that doesn't happen. And I, of course, always try to have 2 to 3 West Cap workouts in my week. And normally, if I'm at the studio, it's easy to do that, which is a blessing. And I'll say to him, I'm like, okay, mommy's going to go to work, or mommy's going to do her hour of self-care so that I can stay strong and healthy for you. I don't know if he's fully understanding that yet.
Yeah.
As he gets older, continuously repeating those mantras allows him to know mom's not leaving me because she doesn't want to spend time with me. She has to go do this for her and for us to be the best family possible and for her to be the best mom possible. So just daily movement with him, whether that's a walk or a run, and then of course putting in workouts around West Kept is key to me because I like to be motivated by our trainers. I like to take their class and give them feedback, and
Hmm.
it's easy and convenient for me as well.
Yeah, yeah. I love it. Almost like two birds, one stone with him. Like you're getting the bonding time in, but you're also getting your movement in and you're showing him like it's important to prioritize this so that you can like live a long and healthy life.
Definitely. And he's so active. And so the other day he was outside like running around and when I caught up to him, I was like, whew, I'm like, I'm out of breath. You were moving fast, buddy. And he's kind of smiling. And again, I just say to him, I'm like, that's why I gotta go do these runs so I can keep up with you. He's not totally understanding it yet, but when he does,
Right.
it's gonna make so much sense and it's gonna allow for that healthy foundation to continue for both of us.
Yes, of course. I love that. Okay, what are some things either on the horizon or, things on your like vision board, dream board, whether that's West Kept Secret for yourself personally, both?
So with West Kept, we have a lot going on, which is exciting. On my vision board is definitely expansion and growth, growth within our walls specifically. I am such it's a good quality, but it's truly at the detriment of me and for the business. And we always say this, that over time, I start to slowly like insert myself into areas of the business that don't need my support anymore.
Mm.
So when that happens, the staff kind of naturally kind of comes to me for things, and it's like, okay, we've got to focus on moving Marissa away from the day-to-day operations. And so that's a goal for me is to continue working on that and knowing it's being handled by the right people who are competent and are crushing it. So continuing to move myself away from the day-to-day so that I can focus on internal growth of more benefits for our staff, keeping them engaged, continuing efforts for our members, member engagement, prioritizing them, and just overall creative solutions to keep people at Westcap, whether staff or clients, keep them happy and just keep them spreading the good Westcap word. And then of course the expansion of other locations. So we we have some things in the works that we're working on. It's a slow process, but Charlotte is just exploding with
Yeah.
boutique fitness in general and just construction in general. I know you were in Charlotte recently and
Yeah.
you experienced the traffic and the construction.
Oh my
It's
gosh. Yeah.
crazy, but areas that once were, not super popular, they're turning like that with different, complexes, apartment complexes and retail. And so we have some spots that we're kind of working through right now on, is this going to be the right spot long term? Is this going to be like a satellite studio? Is this going to be only personal training? Is it going to be all three? So that's in the works. That's on the vision board. Another 1 to 2 locations in Charlotte is definitely ideal. And then from there, what does bigger markets look like? And I definitely would like to expand to other markets, other locations, because the ecosystem that we've created is definitely repeatable, but it's at what point do we make that call? But Vision Board is local growth, 1 to 2 units, and then definitely, I'd say, let's say US and maybe worldwide for other locations as well. And then personally, on my vision board, it's an unknown of a brother or sister for Julian, but for me, it's like we're in such a great spot. We love being parents. We feel like we've got the routine, and that it's like now I've kind of reshifted my focus kind of back to the business,
Hmm.
getting that to the next spot, and then refocusing on family. What does that look like about growing our family even more, or are we happy with where we're at? But I say on the vision board, second sibling question mark. We don't know. We're undecided.
Yeah.
That could be a really cool thing to see if that's meant to be for us in the future. And just like I think for me, just being able to continue to find that work-life balance of spending time with my husband and my son and feeling confident to, take time off from work and be able to continue to travel. We took our first like family trip recently
Oh,
and
fun. Where'd you go?
we went to Canada and we kind of like strategically planned it. Like it's not that far away for a flight.
Yeah.
It's close enough. And this is more about with traveling with Julian. Like my husband and I before Julian, we traveled a lot, lots of
Uh-huh.
international trips, and the business always did its thing. Everyone crushes it when I'm gone, but it was more of getting the confidence as a family to do it.
Yeah.
And now that we have that under our belt, I want to make that a priority of every 6 months that we can do something together as a family to have those memories and experiences. So that's definitely on the vision board, more travel and continuing to be able to go to places that maybe are a little bit of a longer flight now that we're confident.
Yeah. Oh, so exciting. I
Thank
love to
you.
hear all about the future dreams and goals and projections. So,
Thank you. Thank you. We're excited. There's a lot of we've got a lot of irons in the pots right now, and we're just kind of in the fire, as they say. Not in the pots.
yeah.
Lots of irons in the fire right now. Lots of sticks in the pots that we're stirring, and just kind of seeing where we land on business things, next steps, and then of course individually, family, and personal.
Yay. Oh my gosh. Well, Marissa, I could really chat with you all day.
Thank you. I could too. This is so much fun.
So much fun. I'm going to move us into some fun rapid fire, this or that wellness themed
Let's do
questions.
it.
Okay. Morning or evening workout?
Morning all the way. I will fall asleep at night.
You and me both. Running or walking?
Ugh, I love them both, but I do love running. The endorphins I get are such high yield with running, so I'm just going to say running by default because of the high endorphin results.
Mhm. Lifting or body weight?
I like them both. I like them both, but let's do body weight because I think that it's an underrated kind of category of fitness. There's so much you can do with body weight that I don't think people realize.
Mm.
So I'm gonna pop with body weight on that one.
All right. Juice or smoothie?
Smoothies. I love them because I normally need a full meal and I use those sometimes as like a meal replacement if I'm on the go.
Yeah. Coffee or matcha?
Matcha. Oh my gosh. Such a matcha fan. Coffee. I don't really drink coffee, only on special occasions. I already have good energy like normally, so matcha just gives me that little kick that I need without being so intense like a coffee would be for me.
Yeah. Salad or bowl?
I love them both. It depends on what's in the bowl. I'm going to say bowl just because I know it's going to fill me up longer.
Mm-hmm. Pizza or pasta?
Oh my gosh, I'm Italian. I like them both. All right, all right. Pizza. We're going to go pizza.
Tacos or quesadilla?
Tacos. I love like a crunchy taco.
Mm.
My goodness. That's making me want to get one right now.
I know. I haven't had lunch yet. I'm like, what am I
Same.
gonna
That sounds
have?
delicious. Tacos all the way.
An early riser or night owl?
Weirdly enough, I'm both. I definitely get better work product in the morning. When the
Mm.
alarm goes off, I'm like, oh gosh, why? But once I'm up, I'm fine. And I
Yeah.
know again, my best work is always done in the morning. I'm a night owl and that I can't fall asleep because my mind is always moving to business things, or I'm looking at my son on the monitor. I'm like, oh, he's so cute. You know, so I'm definitely both, but I get better work done in the morning for sure.
Such
And
a
for
helpful thing to
service.
know as well for business.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm literally block out 2 hours in the morning, 5 to 7 for just my admin because that's when I'm operating at my best.
Yeah. Okay, for people listening, if they're in the Charlotte area or if they're visiting Charlotte, where can they come work out with you? And for anyone not in the area, where can they follow along on social media?
Definitely. If anyone is in the Charlotte area and they haven't tried Westcap, just for listening to this podcast, if they DM Westcap at Westcap, one word, we'll drop you a complimentary class. So would love to welcome in anyone who has not gotten a chance to try us. And then me personally, I am at Mrs. West is in the building. Would love a follow because I've got some fun stuff going on there, family, personal, and business on there as well.
Amazing. Well, I can't wait until I'm in Charlotte for a little bit longer
I can't wait.
and I
When
can
you're in Monster,
come.
you're going to come in for a class. I can't wait to have
Yes.
you in. That will be
Yes.
amazing.
I'm dying to try it. But thank you again so much, Marissa. I had so much fun chatting with you.
Thank you. I appreciate you having me on today. So looking forward to the next time we get to chat and then also your in-person workout.
Yes. Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of the Health by Haven podcast. If you enjoyed today's episode, please be sure to give the show a 5-star rating and leave a review. It makes such a huge difference in reaching new people and spreading the joy of healthy living. I would also be so appreciative if you subscribe to the show in the listening app of your choice so you never miss an episode. Your support truly means the world to me. Have a happy, healthy day, and I'll talk to you again soon.